This is For the Creators.
Welcome back to another episode of For the Creators, where it's our job to demystify creativity. In these long-form conversations, we tease out tips and tricks from all kinds of creatives, whether they're musicians, presenters, actors, directors, DJs, writers, entrepreneurs, and everything in between. In this episode, I sit down with Ruby Aryiku, one of the owners of the social marketing agency Vamp, and a young woman who is destined to do big things in the future. As trailblazers for inclusivity and cultural diversity, Ruby and her business partners are the true definition of Black girl magic. Not only have they hosted film premieres with Oprah Winfrey, Ava DuVernay and Jada Pinkett Smith, they're also embarking on a campaign to change the beauty industry by launching their own beauty event, Shades of Beauty, live this August. During our conversation, we touched on Ruby's childhood, how she randomly decided to study media at college, sneaking into the Google offices, working with her two best friends, and the importance of playing an active role in being the change that you'd like to see in the world. If you're a female entrepreneur or if you aspire to start your own business one day, this episode is especially for you. I've learned so much from Ruby about the power of positive thinking, patience and perseverance, and I'm sure that you will too. So, without further ado, please enjoy my sit down with Ruby Aryiku. It's the moment of truth. Yeah, so thank you so much for coming in today, Ruby.
Thank you for having me.
It's an absolute pleasure to have you. And I have to give you the backstory before I get into it. So basically, the reason that I found out about Vamp was because we had a guest on called Kamali. And Kamali is an A&R at Parlophone. And she found you by watching your video on Guap.
Oh, that's so nice. I love when stuff like that happens.
Yeah, so we were interviewing Kamali, and when we do our spotlight show, we have this section where we always say, what's the most creative thing that you've seen this week? And she chose your video as the most creative thing that she'd seen that particular week. And then so she mentioned Guap, and we were like, oh, what's that?
Yeah.
And then she mentioned Vamp, and we're like, who are they? So then, cut long story short, she then started talking about, you know, the fact that you guys premiered A Whisper in Time, and Black Panther, etc. And I was like, oh my god, I've seen them on Instagram. So I'd seen Vamp on Instagram, not knowing who you were.
I see.
And then Kamali came in and mentioned you,
and then
I was like, okay, I need to find out who these girls are. We need to get them on the podcast. So anyway, went to the Afro Hair and Beauty show. Came outside,
and then it happened.
I was like, the universe is crazy.
It's really
it's
crazy.
So crazy. The law of attraction,
it's perfect. Yeah,
is amazing. And the thing that got me as well was because I think I recognized the flyer that you were giving out for your show in August.
Shades of Beauty Live.
Yeah. From Instagram.
Right.
So Instagram is literally
it's the plug.
The place. Yeah. Instagram is the plug because the majority of the people who we've had on the show are from Instagram.
Yeah.
But that particular story was just so crazy to me.
It all links together.
If you listen back to the Kamali episode, we were literally on there like, yeah, so Vamp, the next time you're having Oprah down, really? you need to put us on the list. Ryan and I literally said that.
That's so funny.
So then when I went to the hair show and I came outside, because I didn't even meet you in the show.
Yeah, no, I was out. Yeah,
it was
just flying outside.
Random.
Yeah,
and
that's
I just
so
thought,
cool though.
That's the law of attraction.
Meant to be.
It was meant to be. So the fact that you're here now just blows my mind because Kamali was literally sitting in that exact seat.
Oh, that's so cool.
Talking about you, and then
I always find it so weird when people we don't know us.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like, well, everyone that knows us, like, we know them. We're friends. They're our friends. That's why they know us. So it's so nice to hear, like, people.
Definitely. And that's the good thing is obviously because you guys are making a mark with what you do. So you should be extremely proud. But before we get into Vamp and everything that you've been doing, I want to take it a little bit back. Just so we can talk about Ruby, your journey. How did you even get here? You mentioned things just now like you were a presenter. So we just want to explore that a little bit. And just find out, you know, how did you end up meeting your two business partners and how did you get to where you are today? So yeah, just taking it back. Where do you originate from? Were you born in the UK?
Yes, I was born in the UK, but my parents are from Ghana.
Okay,
so
cool.
Yeah, I'm Ghanaian, both sides of the family. And yeah, I was born here. Normal.
Where did you grow up? East London,
South.
Okay.
South, yeah. I grew up in Croydon, then moved to Surrey. And yeah, and really normal. I went to a grammar school, so this particular career and industry was not on the cards for me at all. I thought I was going to do law. At my school, it was like law, medicine, like that sort of, those sort of industries.
Funny because you got to a question I was going to ask you about, because I know I'm West Indian,
right?
But I think it's probably the same for African families. There's only about 4 jobs that you can really get.
That's it.
So I was going to ask you the question of when you said to your parents, you know, I'm getting into the creative industries, they were probably like,
boy, I'll let you know more about that later. Yeah, but yeah, so it was an interesting one. But yeah, so I went to sixth form at my school, went to uni, and when I went to uni, I decided to do media. Okay. I'd never done media before. I don't even really know what actually made me decide to do it. I think I just saw something in one of the prospectus when I was looking for uni, and I saw something for broadcast journalism, and I was like, oh, this looks like me. This looks perfect for me. And that sort of led me to end up doing media and communications at Coventry. And that's where I met my 2 business partners.
Cool.
So I met one of my business partners in my class. Mm-hmm. And so we met like on the first day, and we became friends like from the first day. And then my other business partner, 3 friends, then I introduced them. And then, we just sort of went from there. So it's just a nice journey that we've sort of like come from together.
Okay, so when you say that your upbringing was fairly normal, were you brought up in like a really religious family, or
no, not really. No, so I went to church with my mum, like maybe up until like 10, but she wasn't that strict on it either. She didn't go every week. Like we weren't particularly religious. Like I believed in God, still believe in God. I'm definitely a lot more with it now, and I try a lot harder now than I used to, but it wasn't something that was really, really major in our family growing up. But otherwise, yeah, just normal. I've got older brothers and sisters, but I'm the youngest in the family, so I always say like I was an only child.
Really? Yeah, they were
so much older. Yeah, so my older sister, she's 12 years older than me.
Oh, wow.
So she basically looked after me. So she brought me up. So it was never a thing like we would play together, really. So I was always quite on my own, like not in a bad way. I was just like, I just trotting along, and that ended up making me spend a lot of time with adults. I got very used to spending time with adults, which made me very awkward with kids my age.
What do you think it made you really mature?
Yeah, in a weird, but then in a backwards way, because then when I was with other kids, I was really shy, and it was really awkward. So then my parents made me go to drama school. Mm-hmm. From a really young age, because they were like, okay, you definitely are allowed when you're with us and when you're around adults, but we need to, harness it.
Encourage that when you're around your age group.
Exactly. And so that's sort of, I guess that's probably what helped to lead me into...
I was just going to ask that, because when you said that, when you looked at the course, it resonated. So it could be because of your performance background.
Yes. I think it must have, because I always knew that the whole law and all of that just never really sat properly well with me. I wish it did. Like, at the time I really wanted to do it, but... I was at drama school from the ages of 5 to 13, and that's like every week, like religiously, every week, every Saturday, for a good 8 years. And I did recitals, I auditioned for like theatre school, all of that. I did all of that, and then I guess that what led me to wanting to do presenting. My dad was really interested in that. He actually encouraged that. So I think
cool.
I think it's an African thing. He just wanted to say that his daughter was on TV. So he was like, yeah, I think you'd be really good as a news presenter. Yeah, I see you on the TV. Yeah. And so I was like, oh, okay.
But it's still different though from the typical traditional African family. So your family seems like they're a little bit more open.
It's funny because at that time they were, but then I guess I don't know what happened. That all went. It's just, I think it was just that particular thing, because of the fact that it was quite lucrative, and there I think at the time, not at the time, I think still now, there's that one lady on ITV News, the black lady, I think she's called Ronke Phillips or something.
Yeah, I think I know what you're talking about.
And so my dad was like, yeah, you could do that, like you could be the next one, sort of thing. So I think that was his mindset. I think he liked the thought of me making a difference and being someone that's, you know, the first, or do you know what I mean? So, and I think, and he wanted to show off as well.
The irony is I actually think that you're doing that now, but in a different way.
In a different way, but he doesn't get it.
But we can explore that a little bit later,
exactly,
because when you were just speaking there, I just thought, you're not wrong, Kay, but you're probably going to be the mastermind behind creating some wrong Kays.
Yeah, exactly.
So, yeah, interesting. Cool. So you mentioned that you wanted to study law, but you ended up doing, what was it?
Media and communication.
So what did you find the most interesting in media and communications? Because it's still slightly different from marketing.
Yes, it is. So I think what really drew me to the course was the fact that you covered so many different things. Because I'd never done media before, I was really taking a risk doing it for the first time at university, paying $9,000 a year for something I'd never done before. And I didn't know what I wanted to do with it either at that point. And so I liked the fact that the course, well, especially at my uni, we covered everything. So we did marketing, PR, advertising, communications. We did loads of theory. So it meant that I got to taste a little bit of everything, like across the media industry, and that then led me to PR and marketing, which is what I do now. So I think I knew I needed that sort of guidance and that variety so that I could end up choosing at the end of my 3-4 years, which I did.
Okay, so what uni did you say you went to? Coventry.
Yeah,
okay,
Coventry University, yeah.
And I guess that's where you met Rumbi and
Christina. Yes, that's where I met them.
Because Rumbi's from Coventry.
She's from Walsall. And, and then she moved to Coventry, so it was literally just right that I met them there.
So were they on the same course as you?
So Rumbi was, Christina did business. Yeah.
Okay.
So it's quite a nice
nice mix.
Yeah. Exactly. So
cool.
Yeah.
So so you met at university. You're on the same course as one, but not the other. How did you form the business? So how did the idea for Vamp come about?
Right. So by second year, I'd introduced the two of them and they were really good friends. And me and Christina decided to do a placement year. So we decided to do a year in industry to get some more experience and, you know, work out exactly what we wanted to do. Tina worked at Canon for a year and then she was on Google Top Black Talent across the summer. And then I worked at Universal Pictures for the year. And during that year, Universal Pictures and Google were in the same building. So it was just such a weird coincidence.
That's so convenient.
It was really convenient.
She was working in the same building
for
as
the
well.
summer, for about, I think she was there for about 7 or 8 weeks. Cool. And that was towards the end of my placement as well. So, we used to meet up for lunch. She used to sneak me into Google and it was really convenient.
Google's offices must be amazing.
Oh my god, that place! And and I'd bring her stuff from my office, but there was nothing in comparison.
So here's my little.
Literally. I thought I was like, I'm doing great, but no. But so we were always together. So we spent a lot of that summer together. And then at uni we were both in ACS, so the African Caribbean Society.
Okay.
And we were both in the executive team. So Tina was vice president and I was head of PR and media. And so that time we'd done loads of events. We'd helped a lot of small businesses and we were always just doing it just for fun and naturally. And so then she just emailed me one day and she was like, we should start a business. And I was like, okay. And I knew that she was talking about something to do with that. The fact that we do it anyway, so why don't we actually do it properly? And while she was working at Google, she'd be, and even when she was working at Canon, she'd be doing certain campaigns and projects, and they'd be talking a lot about millennials and how can we target this audience and how can we target that audience. And this is her at 21 or 20. She knew how to do it, and she was coming up with these really great ideas.
Essentially, you're targeting yourself.
Exactly. And so, they were so oh, Tina, how do we do this? Blah, blah, blah. And she's like, but why isn't there really anyone who's doing this, properly so that, they can hire someone to make sure that things are being done authentically. And so she was like, let's do it. And so, we told Rumbi and we're like, let's give it a go. And even then we didn't even really know what we were doing. We were we just knew we wanted to help small businesses, and we knew we wanted to just make a difference. We didn't know how, where, or what. We just knew we were supposed to do something. And then we came up with the name and just...
So how did you come up? Does the name stand for it? Is it an acronym?
No, it doesn't. It's not an acronym. No, it's literally like we were all racking our brains one day. We're like, we need to think of a name. On a freeway call, trying to just thinking of names. And then I think it was Rimby said, no, I think I was like, what do we do? What are we helping people with? So we were like, okay, well, we, help them work out their branding. We do this. We help people revamp. And we were like, Vamp. And we were like, that works. It works, exactly. And the unofficial story, which Christina will tell, is during that time, Mac had a lipstick called Vamp.
Oh, cool.
That we all really loved, the colour. It's like a particular purpley colour that we all really loved. So I think that word was already in our brains because of that.
It's sown the seed.
It just works. Yeah. And it just worked, yeah. And that was it. And so from then, we had a couple of very small clients. Like we did like a comedy show. We helped them with their marketing and their social media strategy. And it was all really small things. And it wasn't until at least a year in that we worked out exactly what we wanted to do, which is what we're doing now. Yeah,
because I remember seeing that in your video where you said that a year later you kind of figured out that you wanted to focus on,
diversity,
inclusiveness and cultural diversity. Yeah. So how did you come to that conclusion, basically?
Well, whilst we were at uni, even before, I guess, Vamp really started, we had a friend who's also our client now called Mariam Musa. And she used to do makeup, she used to do presenting, and we always used to be like, look, people ask you all the time how about your makeup and how to do it. Like, you need to start a YouTube channel. And so we encouraged her to start it, and she started it, and it did really, really well. She got really hundreds of thousands of views on her first video. And
that's cool. And the first one,
it's got really good. Like a crazy amount at the moment. So that we were just like, just give it a go, and we were like, we'll help you. And we ended up recruiting her as our first client. So she was our first client under Vamp. And whilst we were working with her, we just noticed that there were all these other sort of bloggers, a lot of white bloggers who were doing amazing things, making huge money. And we just felt like, well, Mariam's just as talented as them, if not more so. Why isn't there equal opportunities? Why isn't there black bloggers, Asian bloggers who are having the same success as we're seeing the Zoellas and all those sort of girls having? And we were like, what is going on? So that was sort of at the back of our mind for a while. And Tina's part of Girls Talk London, and she's an ambassador for them, and she was working on an event, a masterclass for a makeup artist. So the premise of the masterclass was contour and highlighting. And at that time, contour and highlighting was really, really big, and it was really big in the mainstream. And like all the tutorials, even with like a lot of the makeup brands, were featured on white models. And we were like, let's make a masterclass that is specific for darker skin tones. So we had a masterclass, Mahina makeup. She did the makeup, and she did like a really in-depth session. And then we had a skincare talk as well, talking about how to take care of black skin, take away that myth that we don't need sunscreen, and really important issues. And we invited loads of bloggers, and loads of them came, like the black bloggers, and that was like one of the first events they'd ever gone to and ever been at, and we held it at Smashbox.
I think I might have seen that event on your page. It had loads of makeup influencers. I remember.
And it was really,
even
really
some of the male ones.
Yes, it was because it was such a small, intimate event, but it was exactly what was needed. Like, it was at Smashbox. That people got free products, and they'd never been invited to something like that before. And we were like, this is crazy. You've got thousands of followers.
So you're saying as influencers, they'd never been even though they'd established such a big following, they'd never get invited
before,
out?
Like, the term influencer was even really a thing.
Okay.
This is still quite early days, but they had a following, and they knew they had some sort of influence. But they were, at this point, they were just doing makeup tutorials on YouTube and on Instagram.
So is that meaning that they weren't being sent products? They were actually paying for products out of their own pocket?
Most likely.
Oh, wow.
Most likely, yeah. Mariam, even to this day, Mariam will still buy products, and she's got over 200,000 followers. And so,
it's crazy, because I think the assumption is that most of the
they get all for free.
I naturally assume that if you've got such a major following, and is it because of the brands, or is it because the actual makeup artists don't know how to contact the brands? Or do you think on the other side that
the brands are purposely contacting the Caucasian makeup artists?
Maybe not purposely, but I think subconsciously. So I think that's the problem. They're not thinking about it, and that's what helped us work out what we wanted to do, because a lot of the time it's just at the back of their mind, or it's not even it's not even on their mind to think of it.
Well, is it because they don't know the value of the black pound?
Exactly that. That is something I will get onto because we did a report on it. But yeah, so it was just a lot of brands were oblivious, and it was just such a shame. So we were like, you know what, we're gonna be that link between the influencers and the brand. At this point, we didn't know any brands. The only brand we knew was Smashbox, so we'd done the event there, and that was it. But we were like, we're gonna find a way. And so from that event really told us, look, we have a purpose and we're going to do something about it. We're going to really help make a difference. And then, from there we just started, like, even then, this was sort of last April, I think. And, our next client after that wasn't even a big brand. It was like a lingerie company. Mm-hmm. But, we made sure we worked with brands that we felt like we related to, or there was something important there. So that particular lingerie brand, they do from sizes 4 to 16, and their ethos is around making women feel confident about their bodies, and we're like, that's us. So we always try to work with brands, whether they're small or big, that embody embody what we're trying to do, or we can help change.
But does it always have to be a black or ethnic minority brand, or are you open to working with
no so
the big brands as well?
We're definitely, so what we do with the big brands is like, look, you have never targeted this audience before, we can help you do that, and we can help you do it properly and authentically. You're not going to have a big PR crisis around it.
It kind of reminds me of Magic Johnson's story. I don't know if you've ever heard his story. So Magic Johnson, the basketball player, he approached Starbucks way back in the day with more or less the same strategy, because Starbucks was obviously doing really well in the more upper class suburban areas, but they weren't able to target the urban areas. So Magic Johnson pitched to them that, if you invest in me and allow me to open up more Starbucks, but in like Compton, or like the more ghetto areas of America, that he would be able to do it and do it well, because he wouldn't go in there selling the same, say, cappuccino and lattes. He'll be bringing in more soul food and all of that.
That's authentic to that audience.
That's authentic to the audience, because a lot of brands, what they try to do is this one size fits all thing, but it doesn't work.
Not the same.
So
that's what I'm going to look into that.
Yes, check it out. It's a really cool story. And he goes into how he opened up the Magic Johnson theatres and everything.
Okay.
But his main strategy was really tapping into the audience that he knows.
And that's all it is, because I think for us, we always say that when all these things happen with all the brands who do these adverts and it all goes wrong, we always say that, or I always say that, I find there's no point complaining about it unless we're going to do something about it. And particularly for the brands, I think they just need help, clearly. Like, it's their fault, but we've established that already. So the next step is, okay, what are we going to do about it? And I always, my example always is, if I move to like Cheltenham or like Dorset or somewhere random and they ask me to target that audience, I don't know how to do it. Do you know what I mean? So it's like, they don't know. And it's their fault they don't know. Don't get it twisted.
Ignorance.
Exactly. But until we tackle, that's a different issue. That's a bigger issue to tackle. So until we tackle that.
So basically, you're just being the change that you want to see.
Exactly.
Rather than talk about it,
so
be about
let's
it.
just do it. And, we, as black women, we know black women, we know black people. So who better to help with it and make a difference than us?
So when you started talking about your work experience, then it became apparent to me why you do a lot of film premieres. Is that because you worked at Universal?
No.
Is there
Not
anything to do
even.
with that,
I wish it was so nice and smooth like that, because I
I'm
probably
just
would have had an
thinking-
easier ride. No.
So
I was in a
can you
completely
just
different
explain
apartment.
that a bit? Because one of the questions I wanted to ask is, you seem to focus a lot on
The film stuff,
premiering
yeah.
films. So is there a particular reason for that, or is that just because it's an opportunity that presented itself?
So when I worked there at Universal, I worked for the home entertainment department. So it was very different to theatrical. Theatrical have all the big money and they've got all the big premieres and they've got all the cool stuff. So I used to look at that team afar, like, oh, I want to do it. But home ent was really cool. Home ent was a really good stepping stone because you have to be creative with little. So I was really happy working there. But I guess whilst I was there, I did get to see how things work. So when they acquire certain films, how much budget they're likely to use to promote that film, and if it will go straight to DVD release, or whether it will go theatrical, whether they're going to do a small release. I learned some things along the way. But to be honest, when I left, I had no contacts. Like, I didn't know anyone. Like, it was a very hard year, and not that I had a terrible experience, but I didn't have the best experience there. And so I didn't leave with any contacts that I could approach to help me
and your business.
Yes, and even when I have in recent times, I ain't had no help. So, but what actually happened was with Girls Trip, I saw that it was Universal, and I was really surprised because there's only a few black films that Universal have. I say that there's only a few, but it depends on what it is. So the few black films under Universal were like The Best Man's Wedding and Best Man, but obviously that was years ago. And then the next set of films were Ride Along, so the Kevin Hart, Ice Cube films. So all their films are with Universal. And then Straight Out of Compton. And then while I was there is when Straight Out of Compton came. So they're very selective. So it's a bit of a mix. You're never really sure whether they're going to take a film like that on. So when I saw it, I was like, is this going to come to the UK? Like, are we going to see this here? I've never seen a film like that come here and ever
do well
at all. Because I remember my mum always says that. It was one time she was in the US and she kept on seeing a trailer for, I don't know, some sort of black film. And she came back to the UK really excited to see it, and then found out they weren't showing it. She was like, what?
But it's strange as well, because even here in the UK, I live in Essex, and they weren't showing Girls Trip in Essex. So we had to come into Westfield, London. Stratford to watch it.
There you go.
And the thing I don't understand is, like, they showed Black Panther in Essex, but I guess that's because it's with Marvel. It's with Marvel, so it's still bigger than it just being a black film.
Yeah.
But then, and the thing is, you don't think about these things. So I think in my head, I'm still a little bit naive, not realizing where I live. So we thought automatically, we'll just go to the closest cinema to us and watch Girls Trip. But it wasn't even available.
Showing,
And the thing about it is, it was an amazing film, and I don't think it was a film that was overly black
at all,
that you can't get it. But then also, I think it portrays women like us, just women. Like, I don't think it has to, because how comes we can sit down and watch a film that's predominantly white?
Basically, 80% of the films that are ever in the cinema. Yeah, we can
still relate to them because we're human beings.
Exactly,
ultimately.
We're women.
So why can't you relate to a film just because most of the characters are black?
Exactly. So
but then you're not even given the option.
We're not even given the option. Exactly. It's just like, oh no, it won't work. It won't work. Never mind. So I honestly was like, when I saw the trailer, I remember I was on my bed and I saw the trailer on Instagram, and I was like, no, this is too good. Like, it has to be coming. So I legit found a number online.
Oh, wow.
Legit found a number online, called up, and was like, hello, can I speak to someone from the PR team?
No way.
Yeah. And then the person I called happened to be the right person. And then I was like, okay, well, I was just...
That's faith.
Honestly, that's why I believe in God.
Yes.
Because honestly, I have to, because I literally, the same girl, I had this whole conversation with. I don't think I got passed on to anyone. It was literally just one girl. And I was like, oh, well, I've just seen the trailer for Girls Trip and I wanted to know, is it coming to the UK? And she's like, oh, yeah, it is. It's my release. And I was like, okay, perfect. She's like, oh, how can I help? And I was like, oh, well, have you got any plans for the marketing and PR for it? Because we're an agency and we work with Black British bloggers, and we'd love to see if we can help with the release. And she's like, oh, my God, yeah. She's like, yep, this is my email address. Please email me your, whatever your thoughts are, blah, blah, blah. Had maybe 2-3 emails back and forth, sent over a couple of ideas, and then asked whether we can come in, and she was like, yep, come in. And then when we came in, we signed the dotted line, and that was it.
How dope is that?
That was it. We'd had any other real experience. We hadn't really done much at that point. We just knew people that we could holler at to help with stuff. So we ended up doing 2 parts for Girls Trip. So we did PR and we did an event. So for the PR, we were like to them, look, who have you got to interview the cast? Like, who have you got on your PR schedule? Because we knew they were going to come and say, oh yeah, we've got BBC One Extra, and they think that's it. They've ticked the boxes. We're like, no. Do you know what this film is? Do you know who is in this film? You need to make sure you've got everybody and everybody. And so at first we were we gave them some suggestions, and we were like, okay, well, if you need help, we know some of these people, so let us know. And I guess at this point we thought, do you know what, this is bigger than us, it's for the culture, so like we'll just help, we just want to make sure this is done right. Then we're like, okay, wait we're like, if you want us to do this, if you want us to do the PR as well, give us some extra coins and we'll handle it. And so we'll handle black and sort of urban and female publications. And so they did all their mainstream stuff. So they did all the Cosmo and all them guys, which obviously they need to do. But like, we'll handle everybody else. Just give us a chunk of time with the cast and we'll do that. And so we had like Mobo, we had Galdem, we had Guap Kane, I think we had 12 or 13 publications in the end interview Jada, and we were really, really, really happy because it was one of the first times you're seeing black faces interview black talent, and that's really important. I think it would have been really unfair just to have just white faces when this is, whilst it wasn't a black film like that.
No, but it was for the culture.
It was for us, at least, exactly, as black women.
Because I think it was one of the only films where, I guess they had the ghetto parts in there, which we all need.
Yeah.
That's what Tiffany was there for. But it also portrayed them as affluent women that were doing things. They weren't baby mamas.
Exactly that.
They weren't angry
at all.
Do you know what I mean?
They
it
were
was just
girls, and it's
out having a girl trip.
Exactly, and it's like exactly how I see me and my friends in a few years' time. So, and it was so important. So we were like, look, this has to be done right. So we did the PR, and then with the event, of course, because they didn't predict it to be as huge as it was, even though we could have all told them that it was going to be a huge success, they didn't put a lot of money behind doing a big premiere, which they should have. It should have had more noise. So they didn't
do a big
premiere? Our event was the only premiere of the film. Our event was the only pre-release.
So it didn't have like a red carpet?
Oh, God, no. Nope, none of that. No. This was also, they were like, look, we've got a screening and it's an exclusive screening. The cast are going to come down. Jada's going to be there. And they were like, can you help with this? So they actually gave us an allocation at first. They were like, if we give you 30 seats, do you think you could fill them? We were like, oh, yeah. We were like, of course we can. And then as we got talking, they were like, actually, do you want to just make it your event? Can you guys fill the whole 100 seats? And we were like, easier. Still easy. Like, that's even better because we don't have to restrict ourselves. And yeah, so that was the only sort of pre-release exclusive event they had, and which was such a shame.
That is actually shocking to me. But again, I think I was just still thinking that every film gets afforded the red carpet treatment.
No. A lot of films don't, actually. We actually only see the films that do. There's a lot of films that don't have it. It's normally the big blockbuster films because it costs a lot to execute. But at the same time, the film did so well. The film actually doubled its box office predictions, so they could have afforded to do it, but they didn't predict it to
But that's in hindsight.
Exactly. So, we were still obviously grateful to have been given the opportunity to do it because it was a really great event. We had, again, a lot of bloggers that had never been to a screening before.
That wouldn't get invited.
Exactly.
To those things.
We made sure that room was filled with like a mix of people because I think even at that point last year, there was still sort of the group of people who always get invited to things. We were like, no, let's mix it up. We want to see people that don't know each other and like people who've only seen each other in certain situations and certain events. And we want it to be like a girls' night out and
because I do find that even within the UK scene, it's still there's almost like there's a group of people and that group of people are the only ones that are allowed to be successful.
Exactly,
and this is kind of like the reason why we have this podcast and why we're giving a voice to the voiceless, essentially, because everyone we only get to see like a handful of people, maybe 20, and everyone has a story.
But
these stories are not being told. And when we've through doing this podcast, I swear, like I've probably learned more from the quote unquote people who are not in the spotlight more than I've learned from the people who are, because you hear those stories over and over again. You just want to hear a fresh perspective.
Exactly. So we were like, there was people in the room who didn't have 50,000 followers, or like 3,000 or less. And it was just about, we always said that we try to invite like business women, tastemakers and influencers. So you don't have to have huge following, but you need to be someone who's making a difference or doing something. That's normally who we invite. And so it was a really great event. We made sure it was like a girls' night out. So we had like girls getting their nails done, we had the photo booth. We had a goodie bag, and this is how we ended up getting involved with the brand. So we wanted to have a really sick goodie bag with like great products, and we were like, well, it's girls trip, you know, holiday time, so we wanted it to be like holiday inspired. So we reached out to literally every brand we could, and it was really good. We had really great support. We worked with Palmer's. Palmer's have a sunscreen that is perfect for like black skin, because, you know, I'm sure we've all had it when we're younger. I put sunscreen when it's like blue in your skin.
Yeah.
Palmer's is not like that.
Or
Obviously,
pink.
Exactly. You know, Palmer's, we trust Palmer's anyways. But yeah, this sunscreen is so good. I think it's like SPF 50. And it's really, really good. And so that was the first time most of the people had ever seen it. And we made sure that was all in the bags. Then we had Kiehl, Soap and Glory, Smashbox. We had all these really, really great brands. And from then, we managed to build really good relationships with them, because we were like, look, there is a bunch of women that you guys aren't catering to and that don't know your products, and you don't know them either. And so we need to do something about it. And so that, like, even to this day, that goodie bag was the best goodie bag ever, because we had like at least 15 brands in there. And that sort of set a precedent for all our other events, that we're going to have really
good goodie bag.
Yeah, and like, it seems maybe trivial, but it's about introducing people to products that they don't know about, or brands that they don't know about, that are suitable for their skin tone. So even with the Girls Trip one, we had Soap and Glory do a highlighter that is perfect for dark skin, and you wouldn't know about it. Yeah. Exactly. I found out about it through a dark skin blogger. And I got in contact with them.
I use Soap and Glory, but I mostly use their scrubs.
Exactly.
I didn't even
their
know
makeup
that
stuff is
their
sick.
makeup stuff
Oh my God,
great.
they've got a highlighter that is beautiful. Their bronzers and highlighters are so nice. So, and that was really important, because people didn't know.
Cool. That's such an inspiring story. And is that kind of did that pave the way for the Black Panthers and the Wrinkle in Time? Because now you've established a relationship with...
Exactly. So even then, we hadn't thought that we would be doing loads of films after that, because I think even then it was last July. I don't think we knew there were going to be any other black films for us to work on, because we knew that we're not going to do every film that comes out. It has to be something that feels right to us. But when we saw Black Panther was coming out, we were like, nah, we're doing that one.
That goes without question about feeling right.
As in, like, there's no one else. So we were like, no, we have to do that. But even with Black Panther, we pitched for that in August, and it came out in February. We were talking to Disney from 6 months prior, like it was a long time. And it wasn't because we were like hustling them down. It was just like, I guess that intro, and I guess they needed to work out exactly where we're going to fit into the campaign. And I guess we were quite grateful, because they kept us across a lot of it, and it meant that we ended up doing more than we actually thought we'd end up doing. Yeah, which was really great. So like from Girls Trip, we've now done four other films,
because I've seen Black Panther and then the recent
Wrinkle in Time. Just did Purge last week. We did Molly's Game.
Okay.
And Molly's Game was a different one. Molly's Game was one of my favorites. It had Idris Elba in it, and that's the only black person that was in it. But it was a female lead, and so even when we were speaking to the studio that worked on that one, they were like, "Oh, do you think your audience will resonate with her because she's not a black woman?" So back to what you were saying about, well, we watch, you know, white women all the time, so what's the difference? But they had that worry that, oh wait, but you know, I know you guys cater to black women, will it work? And we were like, we don't only watch black things, like we watch other things.
Let's face it, we don't have a choice in watching everything else.
Exactly. So we're used to it, we're fine with it. So we're like, it's not about that. We were like, it's this story in Molly's Game. It's about this woman. She was like 26, and she was like a self-made like billionaire. She
is that something where she just
Poker.
I was about to say, I saw the trailer for that film.
It's such a guys, if you haven't watch it, it's such a good film. And she basically starts like an underground poker ring with like all of Hollywood's elite, all by herself. Or she does it underground, and then she takes.
Is it based on a true story?
Yes, woman called Molly. Yes. Oh my God, what's her last name? I can't remember. But it's a book as well. And it's just about her journey. She gets caught, and what happens when she gets caught, and you know, she gets arrested and all this stuff. And it's such an inspiring story. So that's what made us want to work on it, because we were like, she's a boss. Like she works from the ground up.
But it still promotes the message that, you know, women can do great things.
We can do, and under adversity, we can do all sorts. There's nothing. Because
that was one of my questions for you as well, with regards to, because I know, you know, pitching to these brands and these studios must be difficult for the average person.
Yes.
But then there's the additional caveat that you're young, first of all.
Young, black.
You're black and you're female. So those are just 3 strikes against you before you even enter the room. Let's not also forget that your names are probably African names that
have British names.
Exactly. So just all of those barriers to entry before you've even started. So how do you overcome those barriers, and you know, how do you kick these doors down and just keep going?
Well, in all honesty, we're still having to do, and I guess as expected, we've only been going for 2 years, so we're nowhere near, you know, at that place where we could just walk in and people will know who we are or won't, you know, judge us. But I guess it's just honestly just perseverance. We know there's a need for what we're doing, and they'll have to work it out sometime. Like, even if like we'll pitch the stuff and we won't get it, and we'll just have to, you know, pick ourselves up and try again. And we know they'll come back, or we'll know they'll realize that, crap, we really need some help, or we need these girls, or we need someone. And I think it's definitely difficult. I think it's definitely the young bit. I think I can maybe deal with the female bit because, funny enough, PR, well, what we've done so far, and the industries we're particularly working in, the work we've done, we're normally always working with women anyways. Okay. So the female thing hasn't been too much of an issue so far. It's mainly the age and the race. That's what's been the issue, I think.
But I thought the age bit can potentially go both ways with the age, in the sense that it's all about the millennials and Generation Zs right now.
It is.
So you have that advantage of being within that demographic, so you know what the demographic needs.
So we have the advantage of being, yes, exactly what we're supposed to be selling to, but the people we're working with tend to be older, and so then we'll just assume that we are some young girls who maybe got lucky
Immature
or whatever, and just playing it by ear. And you know, don't get twisted. We didn't train in this. We are learning each day, but we are very professional. We know what we're doing. We get results. But until they see that, they try to muck us around, and they just assume that they're just a bunch of young girls. And you know, if they had to put us against the agency that they usually use next to us, they're probably paying us a lot less, or they'll try to pay us a lot less because they think that we're just a bunch of young girls. Exactly. And so it's very frustrating. And I think the age and the race has been their biggest issue so far. Not an issue, but one of the hardest things we've had to just overcome. But at the end of the day, we know why we're doing it, and we know we have a purpose, and we know that we can get somewhere with it. And I always say that I always have a job whilst there's inequality and whilst there's, you know, a lack of diversity in beauty and entertainment. And so until I can't pick out something wrong, I'll always have
a job.
That's how I do it.
And that's the thing, though, with creating most businesses, it's kind of, when I was doing consultancy, you're going from the angle of, well, if all these businesses were perfect, we wouldn't have a business.
Exactly. So
and it's not like you don't want, you know, I want to live in a world where we're not even having this conversation anymore. And for us to be at 2018 and we're still discussing inclusion and diversity, it's
I know
it shouldn't even be a thing, but unfortunately it's the world that we live in. And I feel like your generation, though, I think the generations before now, maybe they didn't have access to information. They couldn't be as opinionated because they didn't have a platform to do so. So the only place that you can really, because before, when you think about the media outlets that were there for maybe our parents, it was the newspaper and the TV, which are all controlled. But now through social media, we all have a voice, and we all have the ability to change. So it's almost like we have this level playing field where the brands no longer have a say. It's
they have
now,
to do what we say.
It's all now being dictated by the consumer, because in the past we were like force fed.
Exactly,
But now it's just like,
Yeah,
I can go online, I can compare your brand to thousands.
Exactly, and see who's really about it.
And see who's really doing it. And, you know, what is the ethos of your brand? What message are you trying to promote? Are you producing the right, you know, products? Are you doing it fairly? And things like that. So I think it's put us in a better position, but 100%. It's still a shame that there's still a lot more work to do.
Yeah, sometimes it feels like we're working backwards sometimes, but we'll get there. We'll persevere. Like, I know we'll get there in the end, and that's what's sort of pushing us through.
Yeah. So when you mentioned just 3, because one of the things that people always say is that women can't work together. So we have to touch on that a little bit, because I know working in any kind of partnership can be challenging. So how do you find the right balance between the three of you to make it work and to keep going each day?
Well, do you know what it is? We're all friends. I think that definitely helps. But it can also be a challenge.
Mixing business with pleasure.
Well, do you know what it is? We're the worst people for that, because we really have. We've done it in the worst way possible. We've mixed it right up. And even our clients are sometimes friends. So, I don't know. That saying doesn't quite work for us. Well, yeah, anyways. But I think it's just... I think definitely our friendship it helps because we respect each other. So anything that happens, it's hard. We argue. We have disagreements, but we
know what the bigger picture is.
We know what the bigger picture is, and we know that if we're arguing or we're disagreeing about something, it's because we're passionate about it and we really want to make sure we're doing things right. This isn't like a little job. Like, this is our careers, and this is something that we want to do for the rest of our lives. And so we know that it's bigger than us, and so we'll never get in our feelings or never get egotistical about it, because we know that there's more to it than us. And we just respect each other. I think the respect thing is the most important thing. I think we respect each other, and we're all in the same boat. None of us started earlier than the other. We all started this together. So it's kind of like, if we ain't got each other, do you know what I mean?
It's true, because sometimes I think it's difficult. So say if it was your idea and you'd already done it for a year, and then you're bringing someone in, but because you all started together, grassroots together.
Exactly. So
it's a lot easier.
We all have to stay afloat together. Otherwise, there's three of us, but genuinely, if one isn't there, things don't work in the same way. We all have an equal stake in the business
and the role to play.
Exactly. And so we respect that. We respect each other's opinions. And like, we really, I know it sounds so cheesy, but we really believe in what we're doing, and we really, really want to succeed. And like, every day, we've only been in this for 2 years, but every day is like a new challenge, but also like new success. And it is really nice to have your friends around you. Like, when you should see our group chat. We've got a group chat. When we get good news, we're like, "Wah!" And we just go, man. So that's what that's the friendship element, where we can just be ourselves and just be happy. And then when we're sad, we can be sad together. And so I think if you can do it, try, because I think I haven't seen the negative part.
I think one of the most important things that Ryan and I did for the podcast, because obviously that's a partnership as well, is from the get-go, we were just like open and completely honest with each other. And again, because we started it together, so we're both invested in it. Yeah. But we were very open in the sense where we just said, you know what, there's no need for ego. We're all working towards the end goal. So if I say something that you may not necessarily like, know that it's not coming from a malicious place. It's coming from the fact that this is our podcast. We want to make it as great as we can, and we really want to push it forward. So with that in mind, it really eliminates all the other issues.
Exactly. There's no time for it. There is no time, no space for it. Like,
communication is obviously the key, because another thing that people assume a lot of things. So there has been times when Ryan and I have had to have that conversation. Well, I'm not really sure if that's the direction I want to take the podcast in, but we talk about it.
You have
to go back and forth until we come to a mutual decision.
Exactly.
But communication is definitely key, and respect.
Yeah,
and obviously everyone putting in the work as well.
Yeah,
there are situations.
Oh God, I've heard people like,
you're carrying someone.
Yeah, and that can really break your spirit, or can break your your passion to continue doing what you're doing. As I said, we all have our role, so we all know what we're doing, and and at the same time, everyone has issues. So if one of us isn't pulling our weight for whatever reason, the other two will
step in,
and pick it up. There's three of us. We're all, we've all got a role to play, and we can all carry each other. Happily, we're friends and we're business partners, and we got some work to do. So.
Yeah. So when I watched the videos from the premieres and everything that you've done, there's one thing that really stood out for me. I didn't really see you guys in the videos much. Is that like something that, you're consciously trying to stay in the background? Or like, for example, when you had Oprah and Ava, did you speak to them, or did you have the opportunity to interview them? Because these, like, for me, like, Oprah is that dream, like everyone's bucket list. One day Oprah's going to interview me and tell about all the amazing things I've done. And literally, like, at the start of your career, you've got Oprah.
Honestly, we never want to be seen or like. I have to force one of my business partners to like try and do stuff on our Instagram just so that we have a face, just so that I don't want us to be famous or any of that. I just want. Sometimes I know we have to have a face
because it makes it more personable.
Exactly, I want people to know that we're three black girls. So we're like, it's not just some random group of people or some corporate company trying to look like we're so real. We're normal girls. So I definitely want us to try and do more of that. But more time, we're just working. We just haven't got time for it. And we're just always like, we manage influencers. So we're like, we'll push them in front and we'll just stay in the back. We'll take the pictures. We'll hold their bags. Like, we'll just stay away. But that's just not us.
But it's also one of those things though. It's like, what I've always said about if you have a birthday party or something, you don't enjoy it because you're putting it on.
Exactly. I haven't got time.
Trying to make sure that everything's in place.
Everything's smooth.
So whilst
that
blogger is interviewing Oprah, you're making sure that the lighting's right, that the cameraman's there, that everyone.
Honestly, that day when all the interviews were going on, we had so many interviews to organise. So did I even see Oprah that day? I don't think that day I didn't see her. I saw her later on that day for the event. So we had the event, which was the live Q&A. And it was, even when they took that big picture, we were like, we were telling Disney, look, we need to get that picture. Whatever happens, I don't care. If they're busy, we just need one picture. And so at that moment that picture was getting taken, we were just so satisfied. When I showed my mum, she was like, so where are you in the picture? I was like, no, mum, I'm not in the picture. It's not about that. It's not about just look. Because we were just so happy that we managed to get that. Because it was a history-making event and it was a history-making moment. And we just wanted to make sure that was captured. Not that we captured it or anything, that it was captured. And so that was all that was on our minds. Like,
no, because it is genuinely, it was a historical event. Like, I wasn't there. And that's just to show you how far we haven't come. Because I wasn't there and I felt like that was a significant moment to have Oprah and Ava in the UK surrounded by black people.
Yep. It was such a bit, like, even when I see the pictures now, I still well up because it was probably one of my proudest moments because it meant so much to us. We really pushed to get that opportunity and those people in that room as well. We were like, look, because even when we were talking to Disney at first, there was a lot of questions around like, do people in the UK like Oprah? Like, are they interested in seeing her? We were like, What? Is that even a question? How? Like, so there's just that lack of knowledge, and we were like, look, we will be that voice to let you know, bring her here.
Definitely.
And so honestly, like, we're not trying to be there. So even that picture, you may even be able to see the top of me and Tina's heads because I think we were standing on some chairs at the very, very back because we were just trying to make sure that it was a good picture. That's all we cared about. And so it's just, I said it before, it's just bigger than us. So, but even when it comes to the talent, if we can talk to them, we will, but more time we can't. There's no time or we're not allowed. But, you know, we had a really quick word with Ava. She was lovely. And it's just, we just want to make sure we're doing our job. That's it. If we're doing our job, we're good. That's all we care about. And, you know.
Definitely. So, just because now we're kind of moving into a little bit about the lessons that you've learned, because I really want to explore, because on this journey, I know that it can't be easy. But I wanted to just backtrack a little bit, because I know that you guys gave up your day jobs.
Yes.
Crazy so what was the thought process behind that? Because that's something that I actually did as well, because I feel like it's important to jump, but I also know how stressful that can be. Yeah. So, you know, can you just give me a little bit like the backstory about when you decided that, this is something that we're doing, it's definitely going to work, it's financially viable. Now we're going to tell our parents that we're going to give up our day job and regular income.
It's that bit, yeah. So it's so weird because when I was younger, I never thought I'd be an entrepreneur. I never thought I'd work for myself. I always saw myself climbing up the corporate ladder. Yeah. Oh my God, that was all I saw. Like, I never thought I'd be doing this. So it was a big shock to myself, let alone my parents. So Tina was the first to quit her job. She quit her job early last year. She worked for an ad agency, and she just felt like she'd been there for just under a year, and she felt like she got everything that she could kind of get out of it. And she just wasn't passionate about it. And she was like, look, At first, I don't think she didn't quit for Vamp. She just quit because she was like, look, I'm done. And I just want to take some time out for me and work out what I want to do. And she's like, whilst I'm doing this, I'll take on the reins for Vamp and I'll get us some business. So she's the one who obviously got the Smashbox event. And we were like, okay, yeah, like, thank you, please do that. Like, you know, see how it goes. And then, a couple of months down the line, I felt myself like, look, my job is killing me. I worked in PR. I worked for a PR agency, and the hours were a joke. I was working, 8 to 7. So the hours were really tough. And then in between, on my lunch break, I wasn't sitting down having lunch. I was making calls for Vamp. And making calls for I had another business as well. And so it was a tough time. My mum got really worried. She was like, look, your time is, when's your downtime? Like, because on weekends I was doing stuff for Vamp, my other business, so I just had no time for myself. I wasn't getting much sleep. I'm not a very good sleeper. And I just felt like I wasn't doing my job very well. I'd see my colleagues do stuff and get so excited about new opportunities and new things that they got, and I just wouldn't have that.
Because it was kind of like
I wanted to have that
to an
Vamp.
end.
Exactly. Yeah. I was just excited. I'd get excited. I'd be like, and I'd get jealous of how excited they would get about stuff. And the only time I'd get excited about stuff was if it was for Vamp. So I was like, something's not right here. Like, 'cause I'm too young to be like feeling really
despondent.
And so disappointed. So I didn't plan it for very long. So that's one thing I always tell people, don't do what I did. I didn't, oh my God, no. I'm a really bad person to take advice from on that sense, because I didn't plan it for months and months and months. If I could have, I would have.
And that's kind of the same thing that I did, which I'm kind of regretting now, because I'm getting to the point where I'm like,
Honestly.
So what had happened was...
Exactly. Because honestly...
because I know how you feel, because what you were explaining just now, because I was working as a consultant for a good company. I was working with like council offices and universities and like the Ministry of Defence and stuff like that, right? But then at the same time, I was trying to start my own digital marketing agency, and I was going out and I'm having all these meetings and I'm like doing all this fun stuff in the evenings after work. And then I have to come in every day and just sit there. And then I went on holiday and I had something like nearly 3 freak accidents.
Wow.
So then I was like, no, when I go back, that's it. I'm quitting.
Because you had that moment like, you don't want to, God
life
forbid.
Is so short, because you get so caught up thinking that you have 50, 80 years ahead of you, but so you really
just don't know. You don't know. So you've got to do something that you love. And that's what we decided to do. I just was like, look, I'll just quit. I literally was like, look, I don't think I thought about it for more than a month. I really do think if Tina hadn't have quit hers, I maybe would have
stayed on a bit longer.
Yeah, because I had her to be like, I'd be like, okay, how you doing? Like, how you doing for money? Like, she gave me that little push. And I should have taken her advice. She warned me, you better save. And I didn't. Like, because that's the worst thing. It's the financial side for it. You mentioned that regular income. It was very, very, very tough for the first year of working for myself, that irregular income and that, invoicing and, 60-day, policy. It's hard. So
I know the feeling, girl. I know the feeling.
But, it's been worth it. And it was a struggle. I quit my job. What was really good was the agency I used to work for were really supportive. They knew that I was doing Vamp before I came, and I'd be getting ready in the toilets at the end of the day to go to one of our events, and they'd be so they knew. So when I told them, they didn't beg me that hard to stay, because they asked me to stay for another month extra because they needed the help. But other than that, they were like, look, we know that that's where your passion is and you'll do great and we hope the best for you. And to this day, really they still help me. My director helps me with like my proposals. They're really...
That's really good.
I'm so thankful, honestly. They're so helpful. Like all my managers have helped me in some kind of way since I started Vamp.
So that's almost like you went to those jobs, but... It was more for the assistance that you're getting now and not necessarily the role that you went into there. They were just supposed to be part of your story, but just not where you're supposed
apparently,
to stay.
Exactly. Like, and don't go to the job itself definitely prepared me, because I worked in PR, so I wouldn't maybe be able to do some of the stuff I'm doing now without that job. So I definitely think it did prepare me in terms of my ability. But yeah, definitely the people there and just that encouragement and the confidence. One of my managers was really, really big on making me feel like I was good. Like I have a lot of issues with like self-doubt, And she was like, nope, we're going to kick that. So she was very, very helpful for that. And it definitely helps me now. You know, when you're working for yourself, you have to motivate yourself.
Definitely. Because that's one of the questions I was going to ask you as well. It's like, do you have a mentor? Do you have someone there that you can, you know, run things by? And if you have an idea, and someone that kind of boosts your confidence, because obviously you're going into all these arenas with people who are older than you, people who are more experienced than you, and you're having to stand your ground. So is there someone there that you have as a mentor?
In all honesty, it's so bad, but no, I don't. We as Vamp do. We've got people around us that are really helpful, and Tina's got mentors that she introduces us to, and they help us as Vamp. But me personally, I don't have... I guess I probably have people around me that I could help or I could go to, but I just don't. I definitely need to invest in one because I see the value. I see the value on the people that we have for Vamp, and so I can only imagine what it'd be like for me as like my personal self. Because at the end of the day, I'm still me. Like I'm not Vamp, so I need to separate myself, and I have to remind myself that sometimes because it's my baby. I'm like, oh, that's all I live for. But you know, I am. You know, I'm hoping that Vamp will take itself off so I can leave it there and it can excel and I can be doing something else. And so I definitely need someone or people to help me with that. So it's definitely something I want to invest in. I know the importance, but I've been quite lucky enough to mentor younger people. So that's been quite helpful. Just as I think being a mentor is actually very helpful for your own.
Because what it does as well, it kind of gives you a sense of accountability. Because if you're talking the talk, you
better be walking the walk. Yeah, that's how people are like, oh damn.
You go in like, you must be hardworking, you must be responsible, you
like,
must be this and like. So
what
I didn't
about
send
you?
that email last night. I've been
email that
procrastinating about this for so long.
It's
So,
true.
yeah.
So that has been rewarding. So, but you reminded me. By the end of the year, I definitely need 1 or 2 mentors for sure.
I think it's just that element of accountability and having someone who, because when you think about it, it's one of my favorite quotes is, you can't see the picture when you're in the frame. So sometimes when you're going through the motion and you're doing things, it's difficult to be observant, where you're taking that time to look at yourself and look at where you're going. And one of the key things that I know from my personal experience as well is remembering that you're still separate from the company. And what do you want for yourself personally to move forward? Because like you said, if you do get Vamped to the place where it's self-sufficient, it's running itself, then what does Ruby want?
Exactly.
You know?
The answer is I don't know right now. Right now, I proper don't know.
And that's fine. I think you'll find you.
But yeah, by
It's
God's grace,
almost
it will find me soon.
the same way that Vamp found you.
Yeah, sure.
So you just have to give it time and just doing what you're doing. You have like such a positive message for your brand. So the next question is like, where do you see your brand going within the next 5 years? What does success look like for you?
So I think for us, you know, we're really establishing ourselves sort of in the entertainment industry. We've started doing some stuff in music as well. But one thing we're really, really trying to, you know, make our mark in is the beauty industry. And I think that's the one that needs us the most or needs help the most with. We all know, as Black people, we know how much we spend on anything. But beauty, oh my God, we spend so much money. And so we actually did a survey last year. We had over 500 respondents who answered some questions about Black beauty in the UK. So, you know, around representation, around products. So we asked questions about, like, when you go to, you know, high street stores, can you find foundations of your colour? Do you see it in advertisements? Do you see people that look like you? And just, we really wanted to make sure we got some data, because we'll go to these brands and they'll be like, oh, I'm an Anarin. But the only thing they really care about is numbers in, you know, data and numbers in pounds. And that's all they care about. And so we're like, look, let's do it, because if you actually look online, you will not find one UK-based survey on Black people, on Black beauty anyways. There's nothing. In America,
and that's the thing, they're so far ahead when it comes to
it's embarrassing.
Diversity and inclusion
in America. They're so on
here.
it. When I was in America last month, and just watching TV, their adverts, it's every race in every advert. You will never see, like, it's normal there. Whereas here, I'm still getting shocked when I see Black people on billboards, which is ridiculous.
It's true, because if something stands out to you, then you know that there's a problem. Because as soon as I
In
see,
this day and age.
and I think all of us are the same. The minute I see like and it's not that you don't see Black people, it's this stereotypical.
Yeah.
Oh, so if they're black, they've got to be mixed race.
Exactly.
And they've got to have like curly, nice
that really
fro.
nice, tight curls,
curls,
yeah.
the coils, and it's
Yeah.
just like, who created that?
Exactly.
Do you
So
know what I
it's,
mean?
that's one area we really want to tackle. So we're putting out the report hopefully this month, it'll be the first of its kind, and it's hopefully just going to be, it's for two purposes. We want to shine the light on the lack of diversity and just a feeling across black consumers and across black women in the UK of how we're dealing with just our day-to-day lives. And some people say beauty and everything, it's all fickle, but it's an economy. Like, we all spend a lot of money. It's boosting this economy, and it's not going anywhere. And we from our survey and our research, we worked out that black women are spending up to £20 more every month.
Our products are not cheap.
Not cheap.
Like,
we just buy. We buy a lot. We're not stingy.
We've got no choice.
With it. We're not stingy with it at all. And a lot of the brands don't know that. And it's simple stuff like even like the hair stuff. The hair market is, I don't know what the number is. Something
It's crazy.
dollar industry.
It must be $1 billion.
It's definitely billions.
Because you think of the cost of, and then there's also the stereotype as well that it's only black girls that wear weave.
Exactly.
Which is stupid.
Which is of course stupid.
But it's the cost
just
of
that
everything.
on its own.
But
Yeah.
even like when you think of, you can go to the average, you can go to Morrison's, Sainsbury's, any of these supermarkets and pick up a Pantene Pro V or
Herbal essences
and all of that, right? And you can get that at a bargain rate. I'm talking like £2, £3. My shampoo is £10.
There you go.
That's just the shampoo.
That's without the conditioner.
Let's not forget, you gotta get and I've got short hair. Like,
Yeah.
conditioner,
So it lasts long.
shampoo, conditioner, leave-in conditioner, wrapping lotion,
detangler.
Do you know what I mean? Like, literally, hair to grease your scalp.
Yep, all of that.
And literally, just for my wash day. And this is why we can't do this wash and go thing, because wash day
What's wash and
alone
go?
is taking up at least 6-7 products, all on average of £10 each. So we're spending a lot of money.
We spend so much money, and then even when we're not buying our products, we're buying their products, and we're spending our money for them, and they're not catering to us. So one thing we really wanted to highlight in our report was around hair. So my hair's natural, but I wear wigs like 24/7, and it just seems like an untapped market. So I use Remington straighteners. I've got Babulous curling ones. And it just seems like an untapped market that these brands aren't talking to all the women that use their products. It's something so simple. Like, what do they think that we use to straighten our wigs and our weaves? Like, do we use our own special black people straighteners? Like, no, it's exactly the same. And even if we forget about diversity and inclusion and all of that stuff,
They're still consumers.
it's money. They're missing out on just pure coins. And that's, to me, if we're going to lead anywhere, we'll just lead with the money.
The irony is, I think that they're earning the money, but they just probably don't know where the money's coming from.
But
because we buy the product, right?
Exactly.
So therefore, they're getting the money.
Exactly.
But they're
should
just
use
not
their
targeting
bloody
us.
heads. It's honestly annoying. And I think the one that I will not rest until I've tackled this one is the hair colour, the hair colouring. So I colour my hair. I colour all my wigs myself. And as an average white girl, when I was talking to some of my friends from work and stuff, they don't colour their hair themselves. They go to the salons to colour it.
Yeah.
So that tells you who is buying those box dyes from the shops. I'm not saying we buy all of them. I know we don't. But we must contribute to a lot of that economy.
Because even for myself, when I dye my hair, I don't tend to get the black brands.
No, neither do I.
I get all the white brands.
There you go. We're definitely we use it with the white faces. So
But put a black face on that.
well, I'd love to sit, boy. That's another story. But honestly, so it just, to me, they're missing out on that. So, and I think they're just missing out on the fact that, the average black girl buys wigs or weaves or something at one point in their lives, or colours their hair, their natural hair at some point in their life, and they're missing out on all these women that would love to use their products and love to see people that look like them in the advertising for their products. And it's just, that's my mission. That is my one vamp mission, to sort out that hair color stuff and
Just the whole beauty side.
the whole beauty. Yeah. So honestly, I think for Vamp in the next 5 years, we want to make a difference in the beauty market.
What would you say is the main reason why these brands? Because, for example, when I attended Afro Hair and Beauty, again, it's just all the black brands. And I'm not saying that
It's a problem.
brands,
Yeah, like,
I'm
we
not
don't
saying
wanna
it's a
use
problem.
them.
That
Yeah.
of course, it's
Yeah, of
amazing
course.
to go to one place and see all the black brands there. But what I think the only way
We can make
because I actually feel like some of these quote unquote black brands that are not created by black people are also part of the problem. By keeping them in this little group over here by themselves is what allows them to have the prices so high and things like that. If they were more inclusive and actually allow these brands to be in the supermarkets and to be everywhere, because we're black people, we still shop at Sainsbury's, we still shop
wanna be
at
able
all
to
the
just pick
regular.
up the
You just
same-
want to go and just pick this stuff
from
up
one store,
and
exactly.
from one and make it be convenient.
Honestly, yeah.
But I think that's part because it's not an issue of supply and demand.
Oh,
There
God,
is
it's
great
not.
demand for
Great
it.
demand, and there could be lots of supply.
But because
if
these suppliers are just so like alienated, they've kind of monopolized in the sense where you've got the packs and all of that. They know that they can charge us so much for these products because
we
what else
can't
are you
go
going to do?
anywhere else.
What's the other
Where?
option? Yeah.
At 7:00 at night, if you need to go do something, that's the only option. So I think, yeah, you're definitely right there. I think the main problem is ignorance. It's ignorance. I really salute Superdrug and Boots. Boots
They're
are trying.
trying.
Superdrug specifically, they're really stepping up
Yeah,
their
I've
game.
got my share when I had my natural hair, the Sheer Moisture
Yeah,
brand
you got it
and
from
all
there.
of that. Yeah, I got it from Superdrug.
Honestly, so I rate them, and I know they're trying to do more, but there needs to be more. And as you said about Afro Hair Live, so Shades of Beauty Live, which is happening in August, that we really wanted to tackle that. We wanted to make sure it wasn't just black brands; it was brands, beauty brands, whatever, the same ones that you go to the store to Superdrug or go to wherever to buy. We want to see them all in one room. So one of our sponsors is Schwarzkopf, and this is the first time they are sponsoring an event like this and working with an event like this. And this was so important to us because we were like, look, Schwarzkopf, for example, I use their products to color my hair, and that whole craze with
and even
the hair
when you're
gels.
doing the wigs are Caucasian or European hair, so
Same,
you're using
exactly.
the
Of
same
course,
product.
it's not Afro hair or my
Yeah.
wigs, exactly. So it's the same product. So we were really keen to make sure that when men and women are coming to Shades of Beauty Live, they can. It's almost like going to Superdrug. They can get everything that they would get. And, whether it's beauty, whether it's hair stuff or cosmetics, it's all in one room. And I think that's the only way we're going to really see a difference when we stop making it black and mainstream.
That's the thing.
It should just be
because
beauty.
it keeps us in this category
Exactly.
over here as urban.
Exactly, and it's not about that.
We're
We've got
in
money
this
to spend.
world. We need to be included, and that's
Exactly.
why I think when you have white friends and stuff, they're always like, why do black people always try? Oh, it's black this, or it's the BET awards, and it's all no. Because if we were included, there would be no need.
We wouldn't need
have
to, but
these
we
events.
haven't for
But
all this
because
time.
we've been put over here in this little unique box of people, and only when the media or you take a piece of it that you like, and then you throw the rest back. Because most trends are started in the urban communities anyway.
Yep, exactly, and then they just get taken.
But then
and
they just take what they want and then leave
and
us
then
with
they
the
leave
rest,
us.
and then we get no recognition for it. But that's another topic.
But yeah, so we just once we tackle that, I think the beauty market is where we really, really believe we can make a huge difference, and we want to see all these. We talk to so many beauty bloggers in the UK, and they just don't get the same opportunities as some of the white girls, and they have just as much engagement, if not higher, sometimes. And it's we're talking to pretty much every beauty brand out there at the moment, and the conversations are slow, but we'll get there. Because it's only fair.
Start somewhere, right?
We've got to start somewhere. So, and we really believe we will. So,
and I think it's also one of those things where they're waiting for that one person to take the risk, and then once that one brand does it, and they can, because you know what, you can't just go in talking. It sounds amazing.
So they've
need
got to be
see
sure,
the
which
proof
is
in the pudding, right?
Exactly, which is why we really wanted to have the data to back up what we're saying. And I think it's just also important that they're not just doing things, one or two things here and there, and be like, oh, we've done our bit. So a lot of the brands think that inviting girls to their events is them ticking that box, and it's like it's more than that. It's more than that. You need to be those same girls that you were saying, oh yeah, we love you so much. Yep. Use our products and come to our event. Will you consider them for your next advert? Will you consider them for your next campaign? Probably not. And it's why. Why don't you consider them? Why are you using the same girls, same white girls or non-black girls over and over and over again? And what's the worst thing that we're seeing at the moment is that a lot of the beauty brands are all using the same people, so there's no exclusivity. So you're literally using the same
Or
girls.
if they're using black girls, they're using exact same.
It's
Because
same.
like, for example, it's so funny that you mentioned that, because Ducky, you know Ducky, the that model. So obviously I know her for Fenty Beauty, but then I saw her advertising for another makeup brand the other day, and that just kind of confused me as a consumer, because I'm thinking,
Which
I
one?
associate you with Fenty
that brand.
Beauty. Not that you're saying like stay in your lane, but there's other black models.
Exactly,
out
it's about
there.
opportunity. And I think as a brand, surely just in terms of your strategy, would you want to really use somebody who has advertised with your competitor and your other competitor and your other competitor? That doesn't even make sense to
But
me.
this is what I'm saying about
don't
like
get it.
most industries, and it's really good what you're doing, and what we're trying to do here with For the Creators is giving everyone an opportunity.
It's about
Because
opportunity, yeah.
It's so easy to stick with the people, and I think because as human beings we're quite tribal, so we find like a close knit group and we keep everything within that group. But you have to give other people an opportunity.
It's only fair.
You know, and that's why we're so grateful when people even want to come and have a conversation with us. So I'm so honoured that you took the opportunity to come and speak to us today, especially with our backstory. I think like how this even came about. It was meant to be anyway. Yeah, but again, I'm not going to hold you for any longer. But the last question I'd like to ask you is, if you can go back to the girl you were in year 11, what advice would you give to her, knowing everything that you know now?
Year 11, so first year of sixth form. Oh, okay. Just tell me to just go for it. Year 11, I was so scared. It's A-levels. I was doing maths like a crazy girl, because I don't know why I thought maths was something that I could do. I would have just told myself to just go for it. That fear of doing something that I'd never done before, I'm so glad it didn't hold me back, because I would not be where I am now. If I had gone and done law or something because I thought that's what I'm supposed to do and what my parents wanted me to do, that may not have existed. Probably wouldn't have existed, because obviously we're all part of that process. So I would have just told myself to just don't be afraid. I think, about a year before that, I came across the phrase perseverance breeds success. And that's what I live by every day. And that's literally what has got me through VAMP since the beginning. So, working with Disney and Universal is ridiculous. Sometimes we forget. Sometimes we're like, oh yeah. But if I take a step back and think, wait, these are the biggest studios in the whole entire world. Yes. And they know us and they wanted to work with us. And that was literally only through perseverance. Like, I am an email warrior. I will follow up. I will not, until you tell me no, I will keep going. And that's that perseverance. And so my year 11 self, I would just literally tell myself to not give up and just keep going. Don't be afraid to do something that's out of my comfort zone. I hate change. I've always hated changes, especially around that age. And it's weird, because I guess that was probably the most important time in my life where change was important. Like, I completely changed my career path. I completely changed my destiny by deciding to do media. And if I hadn't have done that, I do not know where I'd be right now.
The same thing that you're scared of is actually the same thing that you needed.
It's exactly that. The same thing. Yep. I needed it. And I'm so grateful that I did it. And I need to think of who was the person that said, Ruby, just do it, because I need to go thank them, because I'm so happy doing what I'm doing. And, I love my job and I love what we're doing, and I know we're going to make a difference. And if it means that my kids and my kids' friends and, the younger generations don't grow up feeling like they don't matter, or that it's weird to see themselves on TV or question why they're not seeing people that look like them on TV, then I know I can retire. I can, not have to worry. That's my main mission. If I can do that, then I'm good.
Amazing. So now that you've gone through the For the Creators questions, is there anyone that you'd like to suggest for the show, or anyone else that you think that we should interview?
That's a good question.
And hook us up.
Do you want just one person?
You can give us 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
One girl I'd like to shout out. She's one of my clients, so I'm biased. But Nissy T.
Who's Nissy T?
So Nissy,
Nice name.
yes, she's gorgeous. She's a blogger. She's a businesswoman. She went to Cambridge, studied at Cambridge.
Nice.
Is she Congolese? She's African. I want to say she's West African. Gorgeous girl. She's a business owner, so she's got a platform called Beep. And
Interesting name.
honestly, she's definitely approach her. I'll give you her contact details. She is definitely making her mark. She's not your sort of conventional beauty or fashion blogger. She's just literally just herself, and she's all about, you know, taking risks. She's very religious. She's a really devout Christian. She's in a Christian relationship, and I think she's a really good person to look up to, sort of that younger generation who are worried that they won't fit in. You know, she went to Cambridge and she graduated. That is just, to me, is amazing.
Amazing, yeah.
And, you know, and she looks like me, like she looks normal black girl. And I think that's really important, that younger girls can see that they can do that. They can be high achievers and do amazing things and still slay. Like this girl, she's gorgeous. Her hair's always looking great. You can do all of that and be academic.
Everything, yeah.
There's no restrictions. And so she's definitely one to look to. It's a good question. I'd probably say another woman called Vanessa, I'm so sorry, I can't remember how to pronounce her surname, but she's the founder of Girls Talk London.
Okay.
So Girls Talk London is a platform, I would say, for young women who want to get into different industries. So they have a lot of focus on STEM. So they do a lot of projects and classes and, you know, those links to STEM to make sure that, you know, girls have the same opportunities that boys do. You know, we worked with them for A Wrinkle in Time, because A Wrinkle in Time was a really good film about just doing things out of your comfort zone. So the main protagonist of that film, her dad was a scientist and her mum was a scientist, and it's about, you know, girls can be scientists, girls can do that, you know, they can be into that. So Girls Talk London is they really promote female development and female empowerment across industries. And she's a founder and she's amazing.
Yeah, we've actually got an interview with the Manhood Academy,
which
is
opposite, the guy version.
It'd be perfect. It'd be perfect
get
to sit down.
Get Vanessa as well then.
Yes, hook it up.
So those two people that
and the only other request is that you now add us to your mailing list when you're doing these events, because For the Creators needs to be there. I'll put that in there, guys. So if you don't see us at the next premiere, you know that Ruby didn't stick to the word. Abomination. Okay, so where can people follow you online and find more information about you?
So our website is www.wearevamp.co.uk, and our Instagram, which is where all the magic happens. That's where you can find out about all the events we've done, all the projects that we're working on, all the influencers that we love and manage and work with. And our Instagram handle is @VampUK.
Perfect. And your website?
And that's www.wearevamp.co.uk. Yeah.
Perfect. And you on Insta? On Twitter? Or?
Well, we don't use our Twitter. Our Twitter account is dormant. We do not use that. It's so bad. I'm on Twitter. I'm ranting all day on Twitter every day. But yeah, we don't use our Twitter account.
Okay, no problem. Well, it's been absolutely fantastic having you in. The conversation was amazing. I've learned so much, and I'm sure the audience will learn as well.
I hope so.
But before we go, guys, remember to follow us on Instagram at For The Creators Podcast. We're also on Twitter at @for_the_creators. You can find us on all major podcast platforms. We're also on Google and we're also on Spotify. So make sure you tune in every Monday for long form interviews like these, and also every Wednesday for our spotlight interview where we spotlight an up and coming creative who's doing the things. So thank you so much for tuning in to this episode, and don't forget to tune in next week. Subscribe, download, review, comment, all that good stuff. See ya.